Okay. So there is so much that we can actually, learn from this movie. I realized. I did not realize it when I was watching it, but just like that, it just occurred to me that कितना कुछ है इससे सीखने के लिए. So I would like to know how many of you have actually watched this movie, Queen.
Yeah, I have also watched it.
Okay, so I think five of you have. So even if you have not watched it, it's okay. I think you'll still be able to resonate with it, with what we are going to talk. So we just have, I think, one king today amongst all the queens, Shubham. Okay, so glad you could make it, Shubham.
I have watched the movie.
Okay, awesome. All right. So am I really the king or queen of my life? That's the question that I would like all of you to ask yourselves, right? And before you answer it in a yes or no, what do you feel? What do you think? Does it take to be the king or queen of one's life? What do you think it is? How do we know whether we are or not? Are we choosing it or not?
Our belief.
Our beliefs? Is that what you said?
Yeah, if I believe I'm the queen of my life, I might as well be the queen.
Right. So how do you believe it? Like, are there some signs? Are there some symptoms? कुछ ऐसे signs होंगे जिससे finally मुझे लगता है कि हाँ, yes, I'm actually being the queen or the king of my life. What are those signs? What do you think?
Doing things on your own, like है ना, preferably नहीं, forcibly नहीं करना है किसी के बोलने पे, unless and until I want to, like whatever it might be.
Amazing, amazing. So that's one of those signs. When you choose to do something, you're not doing something because you have to. You are very comfortable in your skin. You're choosing to do what you want to do, whatever you have to do, without any pressure, without any doubts, without any judgments. Awesome. Anything else that you'd like to add to that? Anybody else would like to add to it? Yeah?
Yes, it could be when we do not think what someone else is thinking of us and we are just free.
When we don't think about what other people might be thinking about us, we know that कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. So no matter what we choose, people will have some judgment around it. So when it stops bothering us, or even if it does, we take ourselves to the space or consciousness that we know that, okay, whatever they are judging is is coming from their baggage. It has nothing to do with me. It's not about me, it's about them. Isn't it? Awesome. Thank you for that. Anything else? So broadly, I have identified a few things, I would say a few lessons that we can learn from this movie. And we can apply in our own lives, to be the king or queen of our life, right? बहुत कुछ हमको पहले से पता होगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा, शायद ही कुछ चीज होगी जो मैं पहली बार बताऊंगी, लेकिन कई बार हमको ये छोटे छोटे रिमाइंडर्स चाहिए होते हैं, क्योंकि हम जिस वर्ल्ड में रहते हैं वहां पे काफी अनकॉन्शियसनेस भी है और हम भटक जाते हैं, वापस से हम उस जोन में चले जाते हैं, जजमेंट्स वाले जोन में, प्रोजेक्शंस वाले जोन में, एक्सपेक्टेशंस वाले जोन में, डाउट्स वाले जोन में, और फिर शायद हमको वापस we have to remind ourselves, we have to again consciously choose to come back to the zone of the queen zone. Let's call it that. So I think one of the questions that we can ask from now onwards is that, am I being the queen? Am I choosing to be the queen? Am I in the queen zone? Am I in the king zone or not? Right? So whenever you feel you are at the effect of something, just ask this question: Am I choosing to be in my queen zone or in my king zone? And if not, what would it take? Right? Awesome. So let's begin. I have made a small PPT so that I do not forget to to share whatever I noted. So I'll just open that PPT myself. Would you like me to share it with all of you, like share it on the screen? I'll do that. Okay, can you all see it? Can you all see this PPT on your screen? Yeah? Okay, awesome. So the first lesson, the first, awareness, the first teaching, I would say, that I would like to share with all of you is, dealing with your traumas. So those who know about this movie, there was this sweet girl called Rani who was being dished by her fiance, I think just 1 or 2 days before her wedding. And for anybody, forget just for an Indian girl, but for anybody it would.
I remember there was a scene उसमें वो कैसे जोर से रोती है ना करके चिल्लाती है मेरी तो जिंदगी बर्बाद हो गई है. This particular trauma, yeah,
Exactly.
portrayed by Kangna in the movie.
Yes. So trauma is not a very common word that we use in our communication every day, in our culture every day. But what if we start doing it? What if we start recognizing it? Trauma is not about, maybe there could be somebody else who might say, "Kisme trauma ki kya baat hai? Theek hai na? You'll find somebody else." But you don't have to feel like that. But no, that's not how it is. Trauma is a very personal experience, and it might be different for different people. So what is actually a trauma? It's any situation where we perceive a threat. जहां पे मेरा survival is at threat would be a trauma for me. It may not be the same for somebody else. It's different for different people, right? So basically, it is not about the situation. It is how I perceive it is what creates a trauma for me. For a little child, just a comparison with his or her friend could be traumatic. Just saying that, "Oh, you can't do anything, you're useless," could be traumatic. Although we might feel कि ये तो रोज की बात है, मतलब it happens every day in our household. So what's so significant about it? But it could actually be very traumatic for a child, right? But at the same time, as an adult, when we grow, the same traumas could actually lead to our growth if we allow them to, right? So how we deal with those traumas is what actually matters. That is what decides whether the trauma has done its work or not. So trauma can actually make you or break you, and all it takes, is how you deal with it, right? Also, from a bird's view, from the view of how the universe works, or from a metaphysical view, there is a reason why we even choose those traumas or those traumatic experiences in our lives. So, because as a human being, we have taken birth on the earth. We have chosen to come to the earth school because we wanted to evolve, we wanted to experience, right? So ultimately, there is a reason why we chose it. जब हम ये पूरी मूवी देखते हैं तो हमको लगता है यार अल्टीमेटली उसके साथ जो हुआ ठीक हुआ ना, मतलब वो क्या थी और वो क्या कहां से कहां निकल गई, isn't it? So initially she was that meek girl who was very underconfident, didn't know what to do, and one trauma happens and suddenly her life is totally changed 360 degrees, right? But she had a choice, she had a choice to respond to it. She could have spent her entire life feeling bitter about the experience that she had. उसके पास वो choice भी तो था ना, isn't it? But for some reason, you know, she chose otherwise. Generally in our lives, whatever traumas we face, if we do not, you know, if we do not receive the required awareness, उसका काम नहीं हुआ है, उसका काम इनकम्प्लीट रह गया है. जब उसका काम इनकम्प्लीट रह जाता है तो क्या होता है, हम फिर से वैसा कुछ क्रिएट करते हैं, यानी फिर से वैसा कुछ सिमिलर एक्सपीरियंस क्रिएट करते हैं, so that finally then we could learn from it. जब फिर भी नहीं कर पाते, फिर भी जब वो लर्निंग नहीं होती है, we again create it and then we call it a pattern. Can you resonate with this? No, whatever I'm going to speak right now is only coming from my own learning and experience. You do not have to buy everything that I say. If you do not resonate with something, you can just drop it. We can have a discussion over it. Please feel free to unmute yourself and share your views. बहुत ज़्यादा participants नहीं है आज, और हम लोग थोड़ा interactive बना सकते हैं आज के session को. Okay, so no, that's how a pattern is created in one's life. It is like an opportunity that, okay, do you now wish to change those beliefs? Do you now wish to change those conclusions that you formed? So there are those opportunities that keep knocking our doors, right? And either we learn from it, or, you know, we are telling it, okay, come again, because I'm not willing to learn from it right now. You know, I'm getting into my own conclusions and my own judgments around it, which is like a defense that we create when something happens. You know, when we are not willing to see it, when we are not willing to acknowledge it, when we are not willing to go within, we create a facade. Either we go into a denial or we get aggressive, whatever it is that we do. But ultimately, we are not willing to open ourselves to that experience. And that's when it happens again and again and again and again. Right? Okay, anything that you'd like to share as far as this particular thing is concerned, what we just talked? Anything that you want to share, anything that you want to add? Okay, is there anybody here who has never faced any traumas in their lives? यहाँ कोई ऐसे हैं जिनके साथ कभी कोई ट्रॉमा हुआ ही नहीं हो, मतलब कृष्ण भगवान टाइप्स, यू नो, ट्रॉमा पे ट्रॉमा हुए लेकिन तो भी वो हर ट्रॉमा को उन्होंने कुछ और ही बना के और वहां से इवॉल्व होके निकल गए. You know, Krishna is a beautiful example of it. हाँ जी कुसुम जी, you want to share?
Hi Kalpa.
Hi.
How is Swaraj?
I sorry, I could not hear you.
How is Swaraj?
Swaraj is
You
good. Thank you.
You know me? You know me?
Okay. Yes. Now I know. Okay, you were his teacher, right?
Yeah.
So glad to have you here, ma'am. Wow, so amazing. Now I remember. Okay. Thank you for joining. Would you like to add
तो
something?
क्या अध्यात्म
जी,
अध्यात्म में जुड़ जाते हैं तो ये ट्रॉमा कोई काम का नहीं रहता है. आप एकदम अपनी डिफरेंट लाइफ जीने लगते हो फिर.
और आध्यात्म की क्या डेफिनेशन
जो
है?
आप बताना. आध्यात्म आप अपने इस यूनिवर्स के साथ जुड़ते हो.
अपने
यूनिवर्स साथ जुड़ जाते हो. आप जो भी मिल रहा है यूनिवर्स से मिल रहा है, आप यूनिवर्स को वापस दे रहे हो.
एग्जैक्टली. तो बेसिकली जब आप एक ब्रॉडर पिक्चर देखने लगते हैं, आपको पता है दैट सब कुछ, यू नो, एवरीथिंग इज कनेक्टेड. और अगर ये कोई सिचुएशन मेरे साथ हो रही है, मतलब कहीं ना कहीं इट इज हैपनिंग फॉर अ ग्रेटर पर्पस दैट आई मे नॉट बी अवेयर ऑफ राइट नाउ, दैट आई मे नॉट अंडरस्टैंड राइट नाउ. बट देन यू नो दैट इफ आई हैव क्रिएटेड इट, if it is happening right now, there is a reason why it is happening right now. Absolutely. बिल्कुल सही है. और like we were talking, you know, Krishna is an example of it. Like trauma, you know, one after the other. पैदा ही जेल में होते हैं और उसके बाद तुरंत ट्रांसफर हो जाता है किसी और पेरेंट्स के पास. मतलब जनरली आप देखेंगे तो किसी भी इंसान के लिए इट वुड बी अ वेरी ट्रॉमेटिक लाइफ, बट द वे ही परसीव्ड इट made all the difference. So it's like, how we perceive it. And I'm not saying that if we are perceiving something as a trauma, there is something wrong about it. That's how we have been entrained. That's how we've been conditioned. There is nothing wrong about it. It's okay. आते रहेंगे बार बार ना फिर एक्सपीरियंस करने, ये जन्म उसके बाद अगला जन्म, तो ऐसे कुछ we have all the time in the world, in the universe. No hurries. Right? But the sooner we realize it, the better it is. Right? Otherwise we know that, okay, fine, unless and until we reach there, the journey is always on. So for some time, how I've planned this session is that after every slide, after every insight or lesson, can we just close our eyes for a few seconds, connect with ourselves, connect with our traumas, and can we see, can we somewhere see that, that situation is not a trauma in itself, but the meaning that I have given to it is what makes it traumatic. Just a simple awareness, that's all. I'm not asking you to solve it right now or to find a solution right now, to heal it right away. It might be too much to even ask for it, but can we just go within for a few seconds and come back, knowing that, okay, what meanings have I given to it that is making me perceive it as a trauma, and what are the possibilities beyond it? Yeah? Okay. We can close our eyes for a few seconds and dive within. You can stay with your own experience. Just remember all the traumas that you may consciously remember. There are so many that you may not even remember consciously. वो इतने डीप चले जाते हैं या हमें पता भी नहीं चलते कि हैं सबकॉन्शियस लेवल पे, लेकिन जो हमें अभी याद है, let's just acknowledge them. Let's not run away from them. Just see it, acknowledge it. And as you come out, before opening your eyes, tell yourself that I'm willing to heal it. I'm willing to see the possibilities beyond it. I'm willing to acknowledge the wisdom that it was here to give me. And that part of me that went through the trauma is not alone. I choose consciously to heal that part, to be with it forever. to heal it. And whenever you may want to, you may open your eyes, come back. You know, when we just acknowledge the traumas, half of the battle is already fought. I always say this because I've seen this. Sometimes all it wants is our attention, our acknowledgement, and not our running away. It just wants. So basically, we call it an inner child. You know, the part of us that went through the trauma is what, you know, in our language of therapies, we call it an inner child. उस inner child को सिर्फ हमारा attention चाहिए, you know, हमारा साथ चाहिए, हमारा acknowledgement चाहिए, और आधा तो वो वैसे ही heal हो जाता है, right? Okay, awesome.
एक सेकंड, जल्पा, can I ask you something?
हाँ, please, बुलबुल, yeah.
Trauma मतलब trauma in a sense, मतलब when we hear about someone very close to us dead, or जैसे repetitive बार बार कुछ ना कुछ सुनने मिल रहा है, that also creates a trauma within yourself, right? जैसे
Yes, of course.
अभी जैसे मई, you know, गुड्डन का जैसे हुआ था मई में, she died. सेम एज जून में हमारे एक बहुत क्लोज फ्रेंड है हमारा, मतलब सेम एज, हमारी एज का, जिया जी का फ्रेंड है, बट वी वर इन अ ग्रुप इचलकरंजी में, तो हम रोज मतलब रोज का उठना बैठना था साथ में. दैट पर्सन डाइड ड्यू टू दिस कोविड. 25 दिन वो हॉस्पिटल में था, और पूरा 1 महीना हम लोग उससे कांस्टेंट टच में थे, उसके फैमिली से, उसके डॉक्टर्स से एंड ऑल, नो. एंड वी बीन थ्रू दैट पेन, जैसे कि एक फैमिली है और फैमिली के किसी को इतनी तकलीफ हो रही है, वैसा पेन, मतलब मैंने और तेजिया जी ने उस टाइम बहुत, हम लोग डिस्टर्ब थे, उसका जो भी चल रहा था, कभी ऊपर कभी नीचे, हेल्थ, ऑक्सीजन लेवल्स, कभी ये, मतलब, एंड फाइनली ही डाइड. मई में वो हुआ गुड्डन का, जून में ये हुआ, देन अभी अगस्त में मेरे मामा जी गुजर गए, तेरे को तो पता है वो किशन मामा जी डीडवाना में. दैट वाज आल्सो वेरी सडन. सो एक से उबरते हैं, दूसरा आता है, दूसरे से उबरते हैं, मतलब ये कंटिन्यूअस एक ऐसे ये पिछले 4 महीने से बहुत ज्यादा चल रहा है. एंड देन द फोर्थ वन, आई फेल्ट वेरी बैड अबाउट सिद्धार्थ शुक्ला, हु डाइड डे बिफोर यस्टरडे. बिकॉज राइट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग, वो जब से आया टीवी इंडस्ट्री में, ही वाज माय फेवरेट्स, लाइक यू नो, वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट्स. आई वाज वेरी आई एम स्टिल वेरी डिस्टर्ब्ड विद हिज डेथ. तो इतना कि 2 दिन मैं परसों और कल सिर्फ उसी के बारे में सोच रही थी. इट हैज बिकम लाइक, मतलब वो नींद भी नहीं आ रही मेरे को, मैं वही सोच रही हूँ, क्योंकि उसका, आई यूज्ड टू फॉलो बिग बॉस, यू नो मी वेरी वेल, मैं बिग बॉस बहुत अच्छे से फॉलो करती हूँ. तो 2 साल पहले बिग बॉस में जब वो आया था, उसके साथ वो शहनाज आई थी, यू माइट हैव हर्ड अबाउट दैट जोड़ी, सिडनाज बोलते हैं. एक तरह से ऐसे हो गया कि दे आर अ वेरी फेमिलियर कपल टू मी, आई नो दैट. और उसको जैसे अपन बिग बॉस में रोज देखते थे, आई बिकेम अ मच बिगर फैन ऑफ हिज आफ्टर वॉचिंग दैट. एंड उन लोग की स्टोरी जिस तरह से पोर्ट्रे होती थी, बहुत सारे शोज में वो एज अ कपल, गेस्ट कपल आते थे एंड ऑल, नो. तो ऐसे लगता था कि कोई बहुत पास का है जिसको मैं अच्छे से जानने, मतलब ऐसे हो रहा था उन दोनों को देख के, दे वर वेरी क्लोज.
राइट.
वो बहुत डिस्टर्ब कर रहा है मेरे माइंड को. So these are also come into that thing, ना, trauma, whatever, like.
Okay, so it could be a trauma. It could be trauma. It could just be lots of feelings, and at times it is not very comfortable for us to face those feelings, and then that's exactly what
the way things happen na that day. जो भी news में आ रहा है, he came home at 9:30, he had his dinner, he went to sleep, he got up, he felt something uneasy like in his chest. फिर भी मतलब एक वो फील होता है बार बार कि why didn't they take him to the hospital? वो पानी पी के सो गया, and then next morning he was not there. तो ये चीज मेरे को बहुत अंदर से डिस्टर्ब कर रही है.
Right. So a lot of times, you know, हमारी खुद की insecurities हम project कर रहे होते हैं, क्योंकि हमारी खुद के beliefs surface पे आ जाते हैं. For example, अरे, can life be so uncertain?
Yes.
Life is so unpredictable. मतलब मैं तो अभी हूँ, पता ही नहीं 5 मिनट बाद क्या होने वाला है, you know. So how can it be like that? Because anything that is unpredictable, uncertain can make us feel very uncomfortable. Right? So let's sit with it. Let's face it. Let's not run away from it. And then there are ways how you can actually, sometimes all you have to do is just try it out. Sometimes it could just be, acknowledging your feelings. Like, right now that you acknowledge, no, this is how I'm feeling. That in itself could be very, वो अपने आप में है ना बहुत ज्यादा आपको catharsis दे सकते हैं. आपको एकदम से लगेगा हाँ मतलब हाँ चलो somebody heard me, somebody was present with me, somebody knew how I felt. So, as human beings, we are vulnerable. Let's acknowledge this. We cannot run away from that vulnerability. But when we want to run away from that vulnerability, that's what creates the disassociation. We at times numb ourselves because it is not comfortable and we do not want to, face it, dive into it, but we want to run away from it because it makes us feel so uncomfortable. So actually, हमें actually जो करना चाहिए वो ये है कि हम feel करें उन emotions को, हम acknowledge करें. जैसे आपको एक deep sorrow जो मुझे समझ में आ रहा है feel हो रही है, अगर अभी हमारा personal session चल रहा होता तो फिर हम उसको आगे लेके जाते, but अभी हम नहीं लेके जाएंगे because because of the obvious reasons. So for now, I would just say that acknowledge your emotions, sit with your emotions. We cannot run away from it. See what are my beliefs, what are my perceptions, how am I perceiving it that is making me feel this way. Don't make yourself wrong for it. Don't go into any kind of judgments. Because जब हम judgments में जाते हैं, हम खुद project करने लग जाते हैं वो चीजें जो है नहीं. Right? Just sit with what is there. So one way that I would suggest you to do is acknowledge where do you feel it in your body. When you see this, one death after the other, especially what happened like recently. How do you feel inside your body? Acknowledge the sensations that you feel in your body. तो आपने तो शायद EST किया हुआ है, हमने वर्कशॉप किया था EST का, राइट? तो आपको पता है फिर उसको हम क्या करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं. We acknowledge it that even though I feel dash, still I choose to heal and integrate that part of me with all the love and acceptance. So acknowledge that part of you that is feeling that way. How do you feel it in your body? You will have some discomfort or some sensations in your body. Acknowledge it and then release it. Even though I feel sensations in my head, still I choose to heal and integrate it with all the love and acceptance. तो जहां पे भी वो सेंसेशंस हो रहे हैं, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम अपनी बॉडी में फील करें. जैसे ही आप अपनी बॉडी में उनको फील करोगे और उनको एक्नॉलेज करोगे, वो रिलीज हो जाएंगे और यू विल सी अ शिफ्ट इन योर एनर्जी. यू विल नॉट फील द सेम हैवीनेस एनीमोर. आज आप करके देखो. अल्टीमेटली सारे टूल्स इसलिए कि हम उन्हें टाइम पे यूज कर पाए. तो अगर ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है और बाकी वो लोग जिन्होंने EST नहीं की है, just sit with your emotions, feel them in your body and release them. At times you may just want to shout. जैसे कि बुलबुल दी ने पहले बताया था ना, how Rani shouted, she yelled when she came to know about it. She locked herself into the room for I think 1 or 2 days, right? She didn't even want to come out. She was just processing what happened to her. So basically that's all we need to do at times. Instead of numbing ourselves, what if we experience it? Okay, ye hua hai. Let me feel it. When you feel it, you release it. वो चीज जिससे आप भाग रहे हो, आप उसको कभी ठीक नहीं कर सकते. So if, whatever comes up during that process, if you feel okay, I feel uncomfortable, I feel insecure, I feel life is so uncertain, anything can happen to any of us. And you are like, okay, fine. Yes, that's how it is. Let me face it. And suddenly you will not be suddenly the entire energy would be different. You're getting it. The fact that you are resisting to it is creating more of it. Let's not resist it. Let's accept it that yes, that's how it is. Fortunately or unfortunately. पत्ते गिरेंगे और नए आएंगे.
वो तो सबको पता है, पत्ते गिरेंगे नए आएंगे.
So let's face it.
Very
Let's
tough.
face it.
Like
right.
When it is back to back. जैसे 3 महीने में 4 महीने में 4 हो गए. तो that's how you're perceiving it. You know, that's how your mind is making you perceive it. You have a belief attached to it. You have some conclusions already at play. यार ऐसा तो कैसे हो सकता है, इतने यंग कैसे जा सकते हैं, मतलब ऐसा तो फिर कुछ भी हो सकता है, और बैक टू बैक कैसे हो सकता है. You're getting it. So those beliefs and those conclusions are already at play. It's your mind that is projecting it all out there. It's like अभी नहीं 2-5 साल बाद जाते तो ठीक था. You know, we want to control everything. हम सब कुछ अपने हिसाब से कंट्रोल करना चाहते हैं. हमें लगता है नहीं यार ये तो समय भी नहीं था. मतलब हमको ज्यादा पता है बेसिकली. सामने वाला चला गया, उसको नहीं पता था कि उसका समय नहीं था जाने का. And I know it's sad, you know, when somebody goes, somebody leaves, you feel that loss. It is so real. It is so real. Let's face it. Let's cry. What's wrong with crying? It's okay if you don't feel like talking to anybody for next 5 days. I cried that
because
day.
you're grieving. You're grieving that loss. It's all right. What's wrong with that?
मैं परसों बहुत रोई when he passed away. When I got to know about it, I was like,
yeah,
still I am. कभी भी 2 दिन में कभी भी, मतलब many times it's happening that I feel like.
And then, you know, gradually one step after the other, you will reach a stage that, you know, you just want to bless that person, and then you are like, okay, probably he has just chosen a better journey, something else that I may not be aware of right now, but we know it never ends. We'll meet soon again in some other dimension, in some other lifetime. And that's how it is. So let's feel our emotions. Let's open our hearts. Let's be vulnerable. Let us not put, or, you know, let's not create those defenses or defense mechanisms. It's good that you are, you know, you feel that vulnerability, nothing like it. So let's sit with our emotions. Let's acknowledge them. Let's feel them and gradually release them. Running away will not help. Any kind of facade that we wear is very temporary. It will only make our life more miserable. It will not allow us to grow. So there is no point wearing those facades. No, that's exactly what this girl does in the movie. You know, she feels it completely. She felt shattered. She was shattered. She was, you know, we saw how it was, right? Those who have seen this movie. So when you release it, you create space. And that's how you create space. Otherwise, they'll keep haunting you. Those emotions will keep running behind you and they'll keep haunting you. So can we, for the next few seconds, again, close our eyes? Can we acknowledge those emotions that we have been hiding, that we have been avoiding? वो सारी emotions, चाहे वो sadness हो, चाहे वो grief हो, अगर हमने किसी को lose किया है तो, चाहे वो anger हो, let's feel it deeply. जैसे कि हम किसी दोस्त के साथ बैठते हैं ना, उसको अपने सामने बिठा लीजिए, उस anger को, grief को, sadness को. Let's see it. Let's acknowledge it. बोलो कि ठीक है, मैं देख पा रहा हूँ कि ये feel हो रहा है. And allow yourself to feel it. If you want, you may keep your palm on your heart as a way to acknowledge it. Tell yourself it is okay to feel whatever you feel. The emotions are not here to kill us. They are just the guests. Acknowledge the guest. Allow it to sit with you. Then you know it will just leave. It was just waiting for your attention. No resistance, no barriers, no defenses, no facades, no masks. Total vulnerability. If need be, you can go back to the same space. For now, whenever you're ready, you can come back, open your eyes. Tell me, is it as bad as before or is it slightly better? Or slightly different? It does not have to be better, but it could be different. How is it now? Anybody would like to share? Yeah, Jaya?
So yes, I would say it is different. Acknowledging them is actually bringing a lot of peace. Okay, fine. So
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. No, it's like you just have to hold space for something. Instead of resisting, नहीं क्यों आया, मुझे ऐसा क्यों फील हो रहा है, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है, judgments, doubts, conclusions, projections. नहीं, let's just push down our barriers, receive it. बोलो ठीक है, तुम रह सकते हो यहाँ जितने दिन तुमको जरूरत है. You know, I acknowledge you, I see you. And let me hold space for you. Let me not rush you away, right? Let me not rush through something. It's all right. Let me not get into any conclusions because I'm feeling a certain way. Isn't it? So the moment we start seeing it from this perspective itself is so liberating. It's like, acha, itna aasan tha kya? Okay. Amazing. Ready for the next lesson, the next slide? I hope this is contributing to all of you. Just give me a thumbs up if it is, so that I know that you all are awake. Thank you, Shubham, Neelu.
Actually, I'm working from home, that is why.
Sorry, Shubham.
Actually, I'm working from home, that is why I'm all ears to you.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. Thank you, everyone else who just gave me a thumbs up. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Is there? Okay. And the next lesson, number 3. Universe is always supporting us, no matter whether we acknowledge it or not. Universe always has our back. You know what? I've seen so many people, including me, even I feel it a lot of times that I'm not receiving support from somebody that I expect that support from. And at times we go into the conclusion, यार क्या family है, कोई support है नहीं इन लोगों का, क्या family है, या फिर क्या friends है, या फिर क्या, it could be anybody. That judgment could be for your children, for your spouse, for your friends, for your partners, for anybody. At times you might feel that, or especially if you've been through any trauma around it, But then when you ask yourself that, is it necessary that I receive support only from these 1, 2, 3, 4 people? Like for Rani, you know, in this movie, the support came from the lady next door, the hotel staff. What was her name? I forgot. Vijay Lakshmi, I think, something like that. है ना? So nobody had expected that, right? जब तक वो निकली थी तब तक वो बहुत डरी हुई थी, उसको पता भी नहीं था होने क्या वाला है. And suddenly, जिसको वो जानती भी नहीं है, वो उसको घुमा रही है, वो उसको उसकी हेल्प कर रही है, और वो उसको क्या से क्या बना देती है, वो इतना उसको एम्पावर कर देती है. तो वो कहाँ से उत्पन्न हुई अचानक से, वो कहाँ से प्रकट हुई. आप देखेंगे आपकी लाइफ में ऐसे कितने सारे लोग हैं जो पता नहीं कहाँ से आया है, और they just supported you. No, they could be your mentors, they could be your teachers, they could just be some strangers. I remember long back, I was just in school. I was going to my, pata nahi, and it was not a part of it. Like every time I do it, when I'm doing a session like this, it is so spontaneous कि जो मैंने नहीं सोचा होता है वो सब चीजें आती है, और जो सोचा होता है वो सब रह जाती है. So suddenly it just came into my mind. So I was just in school, I think 11th or 12th standard, and I was going to my computer coaching. उस दिन otherwise I would go with my friend on with her, but that particular day I think she was not going, so her scooty obviously was not there, so I took an auto. Something miserable had happened. I don't even remember what. There was some fight or something. You're listening to my story? And so Swaraj is sitting just next to me listening to my story, huh? And I was crying miserably, and I took an auto. Something had happened. I was crying so much, even sitting in the auto, and I was trying to hide my face from the auto वाला. मुझे लगा था मुझे देख नहीं ले ऐसे रोते हुए, क्योंकि हमको लगता है ना यार ऐसे कोई देख नहीं ले, कोई क्या सोचेगा और क्या होगा. और उस वक्त तो especially when you are in your teenagers and you are like, you don't want to project that kind of an image. But of course, abhi bhi. But then he noticed, and जब हम पहुंच चुके थे वहाँ पे मेरे जो कोचिंग पे, so he was continuously बीच में वो अपने उसमें से उसका जो मिरर था उसमें से मेरे को पीछे देख रहा था, and I was just trying to look here and there, but I could not control my tears. They were continuously coming. And when he dropped me, he said, कुछ तो उसने बोला, मुझे उसके एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स भी याद नहीं है, बट उसने कुछ इतने काइंड वर्ड्स बोले, इतने कंपैशनेट वर्ड्स बोले उसकी लैंग्वेज में, जो उसको समझ में आया. समथिंग जस्ट टू कंसोल मी कि कुछ तो हुआ होगा, लेकिन जो भी हुआ है जीवन में चीजें होती रहती है, ऐसा कुछ करके उसने मेरे को 2-4 मिनट का एक वो दिया. एंड आई वाज लाइक, आई जस्ट वांटेड टू रन अवे फ्रॉम देयर. आई वाज लाइक शिट, आई कुड नॉट बिलीव कि मैं सड़क के बीच में एक ऑटो वाला मुझे ज्ञान देगा कि क्यों मुझे इतना नहीं रोना चाहिए, राइट? इमेजिन वो कहाँ से आया. एंड इट वाज those were exactly the words that I wanted to hear. मतलब मुझे ऐसे लगा चलो somebody acknowledged my feelings, I was not alone. Somebody saw that I was so hurt. I was not even willing to share it with anyone. And at times that's all you need. You just need that presence of someone who would not judge you for what's happening and who would just kind of be kind towards you, right? वो कहाँ से प्रकट हुआ, वो कहाँ गया, and I've never seen him again. I don't remember his face. I don't know who he was, but he was just there. Similarly, I know that, whenever I chose greater in my life, support always came from everywhere, from all the directions, right? We may not even be aware when it is happening, but then it just happens. So when we choose courage, when we choose greater, when we ask for something, it will just come, and you know that it comes. Like the Bible says, ask and you shall receive. Don't ask from where shall I receive it, just ask for it. The sources can be infinite. And it is vice versa, when we conclude when we project our own insecurities and unable to, when that's when we, even when the doors are open, we cannot see the opportunities, the possibilities, because we are so vested in our own stories. इसने ऐसा, उसने वैसा, ये हुआ, वैसे हुआ, that even if the universe wants to, it just cannot help us. It is helping us, but we cannot see it. It is so much beyond our horizon. We can't see it, isn't it? So suddenly here is this girl in the foreign land with unknown people, strangers helping her out. How does it get better than that? Can we acknowledge in next few seconds whoever we remember? And if we do not remember anyone, can we just acknowledge the universe, thank it, be grateful for all the support that it has provided us in all sorts of, forms, different people, everything. Just open your heart, be grateful for everything, that everywhere that you have seen the possibilities. Every time you felt there was no way, a way came out. Let's acknowledge the support. Let's acknowledge that universe indeed has our back always. Thank you. Let's be grateful to every channel, every medium of the universe that extended the support that we needed. You may come back now. Okay, awesome, amazing. It feels so expansive actually, isn't it? No, when you just say, you kind of, you also challenge your beliefs and you say, okay, मेरा कोई काम कभी नहीं रुकता, मुझे पता है कहीं से भी होगा लेकिन होगा. Right? And so when you say it, it's like, even though it's a conclusion, it's a good conclusion. It will happen. The universe has your back. कहाँ से रुकेगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो होएगा. Possibilities are infinite. यहाँ से नहीं होगा तो वहाँ से होएगा. Yeah. Yes. That's exactly what, what happened in her life, in the story, in the movie. Back to back, even if she felt stuck, the next something happened and she was out of it. And she was like, the support that she was receiving from somewhere or the other continuously. Amazing. Let's go to the next one. Difficult, but we have to accept it. Not every person is meant to stay forever. They leave when they have to. Yeah. There is a reason why they came and what they did. I'm sure हम सबकी लाइफ में ऐसे लोग होंगे जो आए, पता नहीं क्यों आए, उन्होंने उनका काम किया और वो चले गए. Right? There are some people who stay, there are some who don't. But when we look back and when we connect the dots, we just know that they had their own roles to play in our lives, and that's exactly what they did. उन्होंने अपना काम किया और वो या तो वो चले गए या तो वो फोकस में नहीं है, अगर होंगे तो भी, है ना. ऐसे कई सारे लोग हमारी लाइफ, isn't it? And at times we really have to just let them go. We cannot and we do not have to cling on to them. If they want to go, just know that, okay, I think somewhere it is over. Somewhere it is like one door is closing so that so many others can open, right? And when we let them go, we actually create space for more. Let me ask all of you. क्या ऐसा एक इंसान भी आपको अभी याद आ रहा है जो आपको लगता है कि आए थे वो लोग, उन्होंने अपना काम किया और वो चले गए, उस समय बहुत बुरा लगा, लेकिन अब जब पीछे मुड़ के देखते हैं तो लगता है कि शायद वही ठीक था, वही होना था, और शायद मैं उस समय जहां थी अल्टीमेटली उस चीज के बाद मैं यहाँ से कहीं ना कहीं और पहुंची आई हैव ग्रोन आफ्टर इट, even though it was it might have made you sad or hurt, it would have given you a lot of pain. You may not want to, you may not have, like back then, want to let them go, but ultimately you did, because that's what had happened. So can you acknowledge it? Can you now free yourself from that baggage and know that, okay, fine, they came for something and they left for the greater good, right? So just take a few seconds, acknowledge that fact, free yourself from that burden, that why are they still not here? Acknowledge that you miss them, if at all you do. And now that we know that when we ask, we receive. Ask the universe, what would it take for something like that, that energy to show up again in my life? How would it be? If you have ever broken up with someone, acknowledge that part of you who felt hurt, who felt painful. Today you know why it happened. क्या wisdom था उसमें? क्या learning थी उसमें? Is there something that you learned from that whole thing? Now when you look back, how do you see it? It's up to us how to change the whole story, the whole perception around it. It doesn't have to be the same story that we created back then. Can we be in allowance of that person's choice who chose to leave? Can we ask the universe to show us the greater possibilities, to open the doors? What would it take for us to see those doors that are open now? Whenever you want to, you can come back. I'm sorry I have to rush you through this. You may want to stay with all these experiences, but since we are running short of time, I request you all to go back to the same space if you want to before you go to your bed today and finish the process. Yeah? All right. Okay, amazing. Are you all with me? Yes? Let's go to the next one. Ready for the next one? Number 5. I think there are some 8 odd slides, 8 odd lessons. This one is the 5th. Okay. We are worthy of all the love and honeymoons. Research has proved that we have the ability to produce the love and happiness hormones. And basically it is our own capacity to produce it. We might feel that only when, we have a certain chemistry with the other person is when that happens. But actually it's all happening within us, the, what do we call it? The love in the air and You know, how everything just looks so beautiful around us. All of it, you know, the whole romance that it is, it's actually, it is not as much about the other person as it is about us. It is like we choose and we take ourselves to that zone because we want to feel it. And we can choose to feel it whenever we desire. It does not compulsorily have to come from something external. Yeah. Have you ever noticed, have you ever observed that, you know, you are in the nature and you just forget everything, you zone out. It is truly a blissful feeling, you know. It's like you are all alone, there is nobody. Or even if there are people, it does not matter. You are in your own state of bliss and experience. You know, at times you might be reading a book. It happens so many times with me, especially when I'm reading and I'm like, it's a very different zone. And I'm like, I'm overflowing with joy and love. Sometimes with awareness that, oh my God, wow. You know, ekdam se kuch battiyan jal jati hai and you are like, shit man, this was so awesome. So that whole orgasmic experience is like, it is basically, we have the capacity to create it. Unfortunately, we have been fed that, you know, you are not whole, you are not complete just the way you are, and you need somebody to complete you, to make you whole, which is so not true. You can just choose to be with yourself and still choose to be happy without waiting for someone or something to happen that gives you that happiness. And that's exactly what this girl chooses in this movie, you know. Uska pura dream hi wahi tha. Ultimate dream of her life was that, you know, she just wanted to get married and go to the honeymoon. Right? And suddenly everything was shattered. But then she chooses to go all by herself. And how it turns out to be, like, it was probably the best days of her life that she lived over there. So probably beyond those beliefs, beyond those judgments is where our life is, the best version of our life is. Are we willing to explore it? Are we willing to, you know, go to that zone? Yeah. What if the purpose of life was to have fun? And what if by default we are worthy of it? You know, it's not that you have to do something to be worthy of love, happiness, fun. What if by default you have all the resources within? You just have to tap within and know that, okay, fine. Oh my God, I didn't know. I had this capacity. You know, suddenly you realize that and you feel so empowered, right? So everywhere that we have been fed that we have to be worthy of something, we have to deserve before we desire. Can we let go of all those beliefs now? Can we now acknowledge that, you know, we are inherently worthy? That's how we were, and that's how we'll always be. We do not have to achieve something. We do not have to be dependent on the results, on the performance, on the achievements to make ourselves worthy. And we really don't have to feed the same beliefs to our children. No, we are worthy just the way we are. Make sense? Can you all resonate with it? Yeah. So can we, for next few seconds, again, get in touch with our own self and tell ourselves, just repeat this affirmation a few times, that I am worthy of love. I choose to love myself instead of waiting for the love. I love myself just the way I am. I am worthy of all the love, all the gifts, all the honeymoons, and everything else that my heart desires. Expand if you want to, as much as you want to. . I'm willing to receive all the love. I'm willing to create all the love for myself. Because I know I'm worthy of it. I deserve it. And I choose to love myself. Okay. Awesome. Amazing. Can we go to the next one? Yeah. Discovering your gifts and talents. You know, at times, the gifts or the talents that we have, we feel it is so common. We feel that just because we can do it so easily, we feel that anybody can do it. But that's not true. That's really not true. No, what is it that we can do that comes to us so naturally, so easily? Just ask, what is it that I enjoy doing so much? What is it that is so easy for me? That I conclude that it is easy for everyone and there is nothing great about it. Yeah. It could just be cooking and selling golgappas in a foreign land. And that's what this girl does. You know, she makes golgappas and she sells it there. And it is so amazing. Actually, it is so empowering to see a girl from such a humble background who just realizes that, and the whole joy of doing it, the whole fun of doing it. No, it's like it just expands your world. You're like, oh my God, you know, I never knew that I was capable of doing something like this. What is it in your life that is so underestimated that you have not even acknowledged? It could just be talking. Like I always share this, you know, for me, it was just talking. I didn't know it was a gift. For me, it was just empathy. You know, just willingness to go and have conversation with someone. Just knowing that there is something that the other person is going through and be willing to talk about it, to hold space for that person. I never knew it was a gift for me until I realized it. I was like, that's how one is supposed to be. Ye to sabke saath hi hota hoga. But nahi hota tha, right? And that's how, you know, just ask what is it that comes so naturally to me, so easily to me, that I have literally underestimated me for doing it. Yeah. Okay, amazing. I think this question, maybe you can just be in this question until it shows up. And even if it shows up after that also, I think we can just keep asking this question again and again. Wow. Very important. Why am I not able to, 1 second. I can see it now. Sorry. I was not able to see the heading of it. Okay, so number 7. Forgiveness, forgiving. I think that is one of the greatest lessons that, you know, that this movie taught me. A lot of times, especially when it comes to forgiveness, and I know a lot of people here are already into spirituality, but I've seen more than anything else, it is a facade that we wear. You know, it's like we do it out of compulsion. We do it because we have no choice otherwise, right? A lot of times we are not forgiving from the space of understanding, from the space of compassion, but we do it because छोड़ो ना, क्या करना, अभी क्या कर सकते हैं, ये लोग तो हैं ही ऐसे, you know, things like that. But that's not what real forgiveness is. It's like when you actually do it, when you know that, when you have really strong boundaries and you know that what people do, how they behave, their actions has nothing to do with me, but it is coming from their own baggage. That's when we free ourselves from their behavior. Irrespective of whatever they do, we are not at the effect of it. Especially, when you're working, when you're in the corporates, or in the family. Forgiving does not mean that you have to go back to that person. Even if they feel sorry, it does not mean that you have to live with that person. So here her fiance comes back and, apologizes, but she decides not to go back. And at the same time, she also forgives him. So forgiving does not mean, it is more of an internal process, nothing to do with the other person. It's like you are taking yourself to a zone of peace. It's like having your own strong boundaries, choosing to be in allowance of other person's choice, right? It comes from the space of knowing that ultimately that experience helped me grow, and it could be very liberating and freeing. So if you remember the last scene of this movie, I think that was the most empowering scene that I'm not so much into movies, but still whatever I have watched so far, when she returns that ring to her fiance and she says thank you. She did not slap him. She did not curse him. She did not abuse him. She returned the ring. I think, did she hug him also? I'm not sure. I think she did. Chota sa aise, she just gives him a small hug. She returns the ring and she just says,
I don't
thank
remember
you.
exactly, but now I'm feeling like watching it again. I will watch it again.
Oh yes. Now you watch it from this space of, when it would be like, wow.
Yes.
So she's not carrying any grudges in her heart. Why would she suffer for something that the other person did? But how much are we doing it? We carry it so much in our heart. How can somebody say this to me? How can somebody behave like this with me? So it's like we are in the pain, we suffer because of the other person's choices and actions and behavior. For what reason? What's the value of doing it? So this girl, despite of the fact that she was shattered and devastated because of what happened or because of what he did, that incident completely changed her life and she was not the same person anymore. So she just comes back, she returns the ring और वो बोलती है thank you. और वो वहां से literally उछलते हुए बाहर निकल जाती है. And that's how the movie ends. It is so expansive, it is so liberating. Yeah. When you know that, पता नहीं अगर पहले कभी आप लोगों ने सेशंस किए होंगे मेरे साथ कभी, तो ये वर्ड कार्मिक टीचर आप लोगों को पता होगा. तो वो कार्मिक टीचर्स हमारी लाइफ में हर जगह हैं, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हो रखे हैं, वो लोग आएंगे हमारी लाइफ में बार बार. No, we cannot sort it out. We cannot fix our life for once and forever. That's not how it works. No, there are some people who come to me and say, "Acha, 5 session and then it will be sorted, gone forever." Or do you think we'll need your services again? Like, I don't know. But what I do know is the same incident, and I've shared this before. What if universe has shaken you to awaken you? So if you are feeling shaken up, know that there lies a great opportunity for you to awaken. It's beautiful. Yeah. And it is so expansive. It's like, just look back into your life, see and acknowledge those incidents, those events when you actually chose to grow, to evolve after somebody hurt you. And also the other ones. Where you're still holding those grudges in your heart. And as I said, forgiving is not between you and the other person. It is between you and that part of you who felt hurt. So it is between you and yourself. So today, right now, if you're prepared for it, no compulsion. You don't have to force yourself. But after listening to this, if something opens up in your heart, and if you feel that, okay, fine, for what am I carrying those grudges? Like, as long as you want to prove somebody culprit, you are going to remain a victim forever. Until you choose to step up and tell yourself, okay, that person did whatever they could. Do the best in that state of consciousness, given where they were, to the best of their abilities, to the best of their capabilities and capacities. That's all they could do. It's not about right, wrong. It's not about good, bad. It's just about accepting, okay, उसको उस समय वही ठीक लगा, उसने वो किया. End of the story. उसने क्यों किया, क्या किया, उसके बाद उसके साथ क्या हुआ, that's not my problem. But the moment I acknowledge it, I'm free from it. अब मैं क्या choose करता हूँ या करती हूँ, now, do I choose to be an allowance of that person's choice, or to crib about it forever is again my choice. I'm sorry, it is going a bit beyond what we had decided. It's 7:17. I think we are going to wind up in another 10 minutes. I hope that is okay with all of you. Yeah. So the session would be done by 7:30. We just have one more slide to go. But before that, can we just take a few seconds, acknowledge those events, those people? If you are ready, forgive. Even saying forgive them is like somewhere you are in a very subtle way judging them. Just let go of all the judgments that are coming up. Free yourself. I'll not say forgive them, I'll just say free yourself. In this moment, I acknowledge they did what they did, because that's all they want. They knew. That's all they chose. That's all where their consciousness was. That's all what they were aware of. It was about their capabilities, not about me. I free myself from their actions. I free myself from their behavior. I'm an allowance of their choice. It was a part of their story, their life. I cut my cords. I free myself from that experience because I choose to move on. Because I know you cannot control people. Because I know all of us have our own baggages, and that's where we function from. If I feel hurt, I know it's my responsibility to heal you. But I do not choose to carry any bitterness, any grudges. Because I do not want to poison myself. I know that's not how it works. And I free myself from all of it. Also acknowledge that a lot of times you might also have a role to play. चीजें कई बार इतनी बुरी नहीं होती जितनी हम हमारे projections बना देते हैं उनको. And that is what hurts us the most, right? Whenever you're ready, you may come back, open your eyes. And here we come to the last slide of today's session of the lessons that Ween taught me. Healing and empowerment journey, it is all about getting over your past. When we heal our traumas, when we get over our past, we are also choosing to get over our past versions. We do not have to carry the baggage forever. And a lot of times you may not even know how to deal with it, which is all right. You can always ask for help. You can always go and see a therapist. You can go for and take professional help. You can go and read some books. You can go and attend some sessions, some workshops. Like, I really honor all of you for being here today, for choosing it. It's like, I'm sure हर एक इंसान का कुछ ना कुछ आंसर हुआ होगा. Because when we choose something like this, these are the ways universe offers you, the resolutions. But at times we are not even willing to choose it. We are not even willing to see it because we are not willing to help ourselves. So it's like, when you choose to help yourself, when you choose to outgrow your past, outcreate your, beliefs, that's when you actually choose to step into a very, a different version of your life. So even if something has happened that was bad, you don't have to live with it forever. Just know that. No matter how much you have already done, no matter how much work you have already done, no matter how much you have already learned, there will always be something more to do, to learn, to heal. No, it's a journey. There is no destination. And every time that you choose something for yourself, you'll realize that something has changed, something more has opened up. So I'm not sure, but as far as I know, that's exactly what Buddha did. He kept going into one zone after the other until he started healing all of it, जिसको हम ज्ञातक कथाएं बोलते हैं शायद. One life after the other. Everything that came up to the surface. Instead of running away from it, he said, okay, let me face it, bring it on in his own ways, through his meditations. तो तरीके शायद सबके अलग अलग थे, but ultimately सब लोग काम वही कर रहे थे. तो आज हमने तरीका ये वाला चूज किया, but ultimately हम काम वही कर रहे हैं. You're getting it? तो अगर इतना सा भी कहते ना वो अंदर का लोटस अगर इतना सा भी ओपन अप अगर हुआ है आज, so I think the job is done. Queen has done its job. Right? So am I choosing to be in the zone of queen or king? That's the question that we want to ask. Right? Awesome. I can go on and on and on, but I'll stop here. And I would like to listen from you. What is it that you are taking away from this session? Was it helpful? Did it contribute to you? सबसे बड़ी कौन सी चीज थी जो आपको लगता है कि वो एकदम से स्ट्राइक हुई हो आपके साथ? It would be amazing to hear from all of you. Jaya?
I would like to go first.
Yes.
So yes, the session was actually contributing to me. It's been few days I was stuck in some zone where I was constantly getting irritated and angry with someone, and whatever happened between us in the past, that was coming up, that was surfacing, and constantly I was judging that person and be in that anger. But today, when you said forgiving is not between you and another person, it's just between you and that past, and that's a phenomenal sentence. Thank you for saying that. That has changed a lot for me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So glad it resonated with you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Jaya. So probably universe was supporting you through this session by giving you the answer that you were looking for, giving you that awareness. I think that's exactly how it works. Yeah. How amazing. तो जिनकी वीडियोस ऑन है पहले मैं उन्हीं को पूछूंगी, एंड अगर आप नहीं भी शेयर करना चाहें तो इट्स ऑल राइट, देयर इज नो कंपल्शन. बुलबुल, वुड यू लाइक टू शेयर समथिंग?
For me, the trauma ये जो चल रहा था 3-4 महीने से, I feel a bit calm now, and I'll do that EHT वाला thing today. And overall, it was a very pleasure, like, to attend this यार. मजा आता है तेरे हर सेशन में, वैसे भी मेरे को I get to learn so many things. फिर भूल जाते हैं, उस पे धूल आ जाती है, फिर वापस फ्रेश हो जाता है.
अभी वो पता है, वो मैं हमेशा बोलती हूँ, जिग जैगलर करके एक बहुत फेमस इंसान है मैनेजमेंट ग्रुप में, और वो बोलते हैं कि मोटिवेशन इज लाइक टेकिंग बाथ, यू एक्चुअली हैव टू डू इट एवरी डे.
Yes.
बिकॉज हमारी इतनी लाइफ टाइम्स ऑफ डेब्रीज इकट्ठी कर रखी है हमने, धूल मिट्टी जाले, पता नहीं क्या क्या बिलीव्स, पता नहीं क्या क्या कंक्लूजन्स, इतने से में ट्रिगर हो जाते हैं, पता है. मतलब जस्ट बिकॉज मैं यहाँ बैठ के बोल रही हूँ उसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि मेरे नहीं है, मेरे बहुत भयंकर वाले हैं, और फिर से वापस मैं भी जोन आउट होती हूँ, फिर वापस उस जोन में अपने आप को लेके आती हूँ. आई थिंक इट्स अ वर्क दैट ऑल ऑफ अस डू, यू नो, इट्स अबाउट चूजिंग टू डू दैट वर्क, to be conscious. It is not always comfortable, it is not always easy. Consciousness is not, may not always be an easy task, right? It is so, at times, you know, we really want to just get carried away by our beliefs and our
You
perception.
have to again recollect yourself and then come into that zone and then start it off again.
Exactly. And that's why you need more of it. Just keep doing something or the other. That's what I would say. Thank you for choosing it, you know, because when you choose something like this, it's like you are giving this message to the universe that, okay, I would like to heal myself, you know, I would like to grow, I would like to learn, I want to feel inspired, I want to be, and I want to inspire others also. And universe is like, okay, take this. So it might come through me, it might come through anybody else, it might come through a book, through, you know, anything and anyone around us. As long as we are willing to receive it, it will just show up. Yeah, Jaya?
Yeah, Jalpa, you mentioned book, so I just remembered that book. So people, I would just like to share with everyone on this call, like I lost my brother in Fab, and then I did a class with Jalpa, and she suggested me to read a book now, and if all of you have something with death in your world, please read that book. That's an amazing book and a lot of healing. Billy's finger. It's Billy's finger. Yeah, no, it is Afterlife, Billy's finger, something like that.
Bulbuldi, I have a PDF copy of that book. So anybody who wants to read it can let me know. I'll share it with you. So it's about, again, it's you will have a lot of ease when you read it as far as death is concerned. And I know it's not over with the book. You might again have it because, you know, especially as far as death is concerned, as far as losing somebody is concerned, बहुत strong emotions, beliefs, feelings हैं हमारे. लेकिन this book can surely be a contribution, that I know. So, you know, that's how the universe supports us. So for Jaya, it was this book. And through me, she just came to know about it. She read it. And it really helped her to cope with the loss, the grieving that she was going through. जितना मुझे पता है, बहुत help हुई, you know, Jaya की.
Yes.
You know, it's like when you lose somebody, of course, it's nobody can take somebody's place. But, you know, there are times, you know, it's like when you remember something, you feel stressed out and you feel very, you know, it's like it's a lot of, you don't want to be in that zone. And at the same time, you know, when you look at it differently, when your perspectives are changed, you may think about the same person, death, but it might just expand your heart with gratitude. And it might be just, okay, I know you are somewhere around.
Yeah.
You have not gone anywhere actually. Just that you're not present in the same physical form. But I know you're an energy and you can never be destroyed, right? So it's all about our perception. That's what traumas are. It's our perception, not the reality, but how we perceive. So whoever wants to read it, please message me and I'll share that book with you. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Jaya. Amazing. Thank you, Bulbuldi. Okay, anyone else would like to share quickly? Or else we'll end the session here. Be yourself. That's what Lavanya says. Awesome. तो अगर 0.01% भी ज्यादा फ्री फील हो रहा है जहां हम थे 1-1.5 घंटे पहले वहां से अभी में, तो आई थिंक द जॉब इज डन. No, 0.1% is also good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else would like to share, Shubha?
Yes.
Yeah.
What actually hit me deep in my heart was when you said that if we are trying to play the victim, then we are trying to put someone in the culprit zone. And that's something which is actually real. If we try to keep ourselves and if we try to perceive ourselves as a victim, then it is very obvious that we are keeping someone else in the culprit zone.
Yes.
So what you gave the resolution for that was also it touched my heart that we could only increase our consciousness, or we could just reach up to that consciousness where we can just forgive ourselves, or we can just get in tune with ourselves to just let go of that thing. That was really beautiful.
Right. You know what? Thank you for sharing that, Shubha. I'm so glad it resonated with you. A victim can never change their life. A victim never wants to change their life. And a lot of times we choose to be in the victim zone because it feels comfortable. Something happened, say 10 years ago. We still use it as a facade to hide our real self, and we are like, देखो ऐसा ऐसा हुआ, कितना बुरा हुआ, और आज तक ऐसा होता है, आज तक मुझे वैसा होता है, उसने ऐसा किया, उसने वैसा किया. Now please understand, like, at times you wear it like a badge on your shoulder. That's what our ego enjoys doing the most. The moment we realize, okay, what am I doing? What am I trying to create here? Is this the life that I want to create? अगले ने जो किया 10 साल हो गए, 5 साल हो गए, 2 महीने हो गए, like, do I really choose to spend the rest of my life with the, with what I concluded back then? Yeah. So, and you realize, no, this is not, like, I do not have to live behind those defense mechanisms, facades. Let me just be my true self. Let me go on and live my life. Why would I punish myself for what the other person did? I don't choose to do that. Right? But you will notice when you conclude something, when you conclude that, okay, you cannot trust people because they betray you, you will create more people in your life, because I've done it, I've been there, I've done that, so I know it. I would keep creating one experience after the other where somebody would come and cheat me, or they would lie. So, and I'll be like, देखा, मैंने कहा था ना, भरोसा नहीं कर सकते लोगों पे.
मेरे साथ भी ऐसा होता है, अभी भी होता है.
मेरे साथ हमेशा ऐसा ही होता है. मैं सबका अच्छा करना चाहती हूँ, लेकिन लोग आके मुझे हर्ट कर देते हैं.
Same goes with me.
Yeah. So whatever you conclude, that's how the law of universe works. Whatever we conclude, we create an evidence around it to prove our conclusion right. Because nobody wants to prove themselves wrong. All of us want to prove ourselves right, right? That's what we love, to prove ourselves right. And that's how we do it. देखा, मैंने कहा था ना ये धोखा देगा, देखा, मैंने कहा था ना ये लोग ऐसे ही होते हैं. And then that's exactly what happens. And your ego feels so good about it. Even though you might feel hurt, but your ego will feel so good about it. And your ego wants to punish that person. But yeah, but you're not punishing that person. Like, in the whole process, you're punishing yourself. We don't realize it. Okay. So Lavanya wants to see the slides. You know what, Lavanya? Are you in the group? I'm going to share it. I'm going to share the recording. So if you want, you can, you can
Yes,
go through the recording. Yeah,
no,
Lavanya.
no recording. I want just to read the slide, first slide. I missed it actually. I joined late.
No problem.
Main points.
I'll just show you the slide. Meanwhile, anybody else who would like to share, who would like to open your heart? Kusum ma'am, Nilu, Kirti.
Yes, Jalpa.
Yes.
Thomas, we pursue automatic institution.
नहीं आ रही. Okay, I hope Lavanya has taken the notes. This is slide 2, 3, number 4 also, I think she said.
Yes, Ji, yes, Ji. Thank
Done?
you so much.
Welcome.
Yes, yes. I just missed it. I joined late actually.
No problem, no problem. So if you
It's
have
very
missed a part,
interesting.
if you have missed a
It's-
part of it, I'll share the recording and you can catch up with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, thank you. It's very interesting and very needed counseling. Most of them need it actually.
Thank you. Thank you for receiving it. Thank you for choosing it, Lavanya. So glad that you joined
Thank
today.
you, thank you. We should thank you actually.
Thank you. It's so mutual. You know, it's like both the parties learn when something like this happens.
Yeah, through social media we can learn so many things, but nowadays they are just misusing it. Because even teens also need so many teachings like this. Self-counseling, like
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. कुसुम मैम आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
हाँ जरा ऐसा हुआ था 12 साल पहले कि कोई कुछ कहता बहुत बुरा लग जाता था, लेकिन 10-12 साल से ऐसा हो गया है अब जब से अपना ये समझ में आया है कि इन सब बातों का कोई मतलब नहीं है, सब प्रकृति का दिया हुआ प्रकृति को ही देना है, तब से बिल्कुल किसी का कुछ बुरा नहीं लगता, कोई चीज असर नहीं करती इन सब चीजों पर.
Nice. Wow, amazing. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. बहुत अच्छा.
क्योंकि मैं जैसे हीलिंग करती हूँ, रेगुलर भी हूँ और भक्तांबर हीलिंग भी करती हूँ.
Nice. Wow, amazing. ये बहुत empowering है ना, जब हम पता है कि सारी possibilities हमारे अंदर है, हम create कर सकते हैं और यूनिवर्स हमको सपोर्ट कर रहा है. नो बेसिकली यूनिवर्स हम है और हम यूनिवर्स है, कोई डिफरेंस है
जब
ही
हम
नहीं.
ये सोचते हैं ना कि ये होएगा ऐसा होगा, तो हम पहले से ही डिसाइड कर लें कि ऐसा होगा, इसीलिए वो होता है. अगर हम ये सोच लें कि नहीं कुछ नहीं होगा, सब कुछ अच्छा, तो वो सब चीज अच्छी ही होती है, कभी गलत नहीं होता है.
हाँ, that's the power of our beliefs. Exactly. कितनी किताबें लिखी
एक्चुअली
गई है इस पे कि
ये
हमारा
हमारे
सबकॉन्शियस बहुत बहुत
अनकॉन्शियस
powerful है.
माइंड का क्रिएशन है, ये बाकी कुछ नहीं है.
Right. Okay, thank you. Amazing. कोई और शेयर करना चाहेगा? Okay, all of us are. So I'll just leaving too. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. And I'm so grateful to each one of you. I hope to see you all soon again in the next session. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Take care.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
चाची जी मुंह ही नहीं दिखाते.
निकल गए वो है नहीं अभी यहाँ.
शुरू
Bye.
करिए.
See you.
चलो.
Bye.